AskReddit by Impression Cautious 11. What do you think are some of the bitter but fundamental truths of life? Life is unfair and you can be dealt a bad hand and no amount of good advice is going to fix that. That reminds me of a very good Star Trek quote. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Jean-Luc Picard. You don't always get what you deserve. And other people don't always get what they deserve. You can't love someone into loving you. If you're the only one still putting in any effort, it isn't a relationship anymore. We were long distance. Pandemic and the accompanying bans on international travel ensured that we stayed long distance longer than we'd ever intended to be. She developed a following on TikTok, and I got demoted to being just another fan. Just got less responsive over time, and it got harder and harder for me to make excuses for her. Eventually she cheated, and we split up. That was 2 years ago. Haven't spoken to her again, but haven't had it in me to start dating again either. No matter how hard you try to be a good person and friend, you'll never be able to control whether or not someone actually gives a shit about you. That's why we have to be a good person and friend for the value that has in and of itself. Regardless of what the other person responds to it. Basically do it because it's right, not because of what others give you for it. You aren't gonna have everyone like you. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is if you like yourself. Yes, but at the same time, don't be an asshole who disregards every single person's opinions, especially those closest to you, who you care about. If in doubt, put yourself first, but if you can, having those closest to you look up to you feels very good, and that won't happen unless you consider them. It is 100% unfair and it is 100% relentless. You can take breaks if you work for it in advance. Sure, you'll fall behind people who don't take breaks, but that is frequently an acceptable cost. You can do everything right and still fail. The government and politicians do not care about you. You are responsible for your own actions. The only person you can 100% rely on is yourself. I always say you are your best audience. I usually say that to my kids when they ask why I am talking to myself. That and I tell them I am often the only one listening, so. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life, as said by Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Conversely, some people fail repeatedly and still manage to keep chugging on. 99.9% of the world doesn't care about you. Life is harder if you're fat, ugly, or don't conform to society's beauty or fashion standards. Life is not fair. People suck. People. What a bunch of bastards. You can go your whole life not knowing you are missing something that can make life worth living. And it probably isn't even your fault. Like, can you provide an example? There is no karma, bad people get away with things. That our control of life is limited and that we are not as special as we think we are as a species when we look at the bigger picture of the cosmos. The importance of money. You either live until something matters or you don't and nothing does. Always respect your boundaries. As well as others' boundaries in. Not everything is a lesson. Sometimes you just fail. Thanks Dwight. Everybody lies. Everybody cries. Everybody dies. The nihilistic version of eat, pray, love lol. Life isn't fair and it never has been. So you aren't owed anything, and therefore, there is no karma. No justice. No handouts. Nothing will happen unless you act. There is no karma. Thank you. Only funky timing. You don't matter as much as you think you do. At the same time, you matter more than you know. It's a precarious balance. The universe is under no obligation to be emotionally satisfying or even comprehensible to anyone. Whatever your dreams are, or even just surviving, no one can do it for you, but you.